Dagon roams in the crimson haze. Shadows dance in his wicked gaze. Claws that scrape on the gates of fear. Whispers rise as the end draws near. Into the demons with mighty falls. Echoes shattering cracks and halls. Fire fades as the darkness swells. Take on fate in the abyss unfurls.
Hi everyone.
Should have
Uh,
really some of that intro, shouldn't we?
yeah. Welcome to Behind the Curtain, and as you can see, I'm not alone. Hi, John.
All right.
How are you doing? It's weird calling you John. I think I've only done it once before.
It's been a bit of a weird few days. Just kind of like just getting used to everything that's happened. It's,
A lot's happened. John, obviously, aka Dagon, retired at IWF Grandslam this past Saturday. Brian's watching as well. Hi, Brian. Ed Hunter, big fan. I think he's been to every single IW event. Ed Hunter, you know.
yes.
I don't think he's missed one. Good evening from the Netherlands. Good evening, Becky. And good evening, Ella. Ella's watching. So we've just had a Grand Slam. If you were there, fantastic. If you weren't, it'll be on Patreon in the next few days. So get yourself on there. But Dagon retired in what was probably, I think, the most emotionally charged match we've ever seen. How are you feeling?
The day after, I was a little bit roughed up. I told like the management, the IWF, Spawn, that like that last match I was giving everything. Like there was going to be nothing left after that match, and I feel good that that's what happened. I got the opportunity to give everything. I got the opportunity to do stuff that I couldn't have done previous months because it would have prevented getting to this point. But with the fun times, with the good matches, came the pain and the should we just see stuck on the settee for a couple of days. But no, I'm overwhelmed with how it went.
It takes its toll. I've seen it personally. I've seen the pain you've been in because obviously we play clubs, we play FIFA on the outside, and sometimes all I hear is you complaining. And I know Zoe will agree with us about your back, constant complaining. But you know what? I can see how much you've gone through. And one question I've always asked, and I've wanted to ask it: do you personally believe it's worth it? Would you go through it again?
So for me, it was started wrestling in September 2021. And then a few weeks after, I think I've told you this story, but I was quite big at, I mean, I don't look at it now, but I was quite big into hitting the gym. I was hitting the gym like 2-3 times a day, especially through COVID. And I was doing deadlifts and with Leyland Spawn. And I'd done a heavy deadlift and my back popped. And I was thinking, my legs went numb and I hit the floor like a ton of bricks. And Leyland that held us up and I couldn't move. Like I thought I was paralyzed. A few days later, like I started getting a bit of movement, I could walk about a bit. But then it kind of, I'd never got a check, so it's kind of my fault in a sense. So when we were doing shows and stuff, like I would be all right, but then I'd have a couple of months where I wouldn't be, and I would just fight through the pain. And don't get us wrong, like there were like 8 months without any pain at first, and then later on doing like the hardcore stuff, doing the high impact matches, it kind of it got to a point where I was every month. Like I would do a match, and I would be stuck for about a week where I was in constant pain. Then I would not be able to move as well for a week after that. Then I started feeling a bit better. Then it was showtime again. But
Unless it comes to wallpapering, apparently.
yes. So a few weeks after I'd done me back initially, I was doing decorating in the house, and I was on the last bit of wallpapering, and I bent down to put the pasting brush into the paste, and my back went. And we come in, I shouted at her, and she was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "I can't get up." She went, "Well, before you die, hang that last bit of wallpaper up." And I'm thinking, I wish you could feel what I'm feeling right now. But to answer the question, I would do it all over again. All over again. I'm your own worst enemy. Obviously, I work for a promoter that didn't give a crap about how people were feeling, about any injuries. But being naive, being new, I just went along with it. And any opportunity I got to be in the ring, I took. So I take the most responsibility for that, and which has led us to this point.
Speaking of this point, before we go any further, I am going to tell all of you watching, listening, whatever you're doing right now, if you don't want people to, what's the best way to describe this? If you don't want certain people to know about the illusion being shattered in wrestling, we're going to be talking very behind the scenes stuff during this live. And we know some people don't particularly want to hear about that. So if you don't, now is your time to click the X, get off the screen, go away, do something else. I'm going to give you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right, that was your chance. Speaking of that, this is so when we got IWF going off the ground, you didn't begin as Dagon.
No.
Obviously, at the end of Dagon's demise, we saw you didn't want to finish as Strange.
That's right.
You wanted to bring Dagon back, and the last thing we saw in that Dagon's demise video was you wanting to contact Davey.
Yeah. So I was going to retire a lot sooner, and it was supposed to be over 18 show against Nate Sawyer. That was going to be my retirement match. Obviously things happened. We moved on. We created Imperial, and then that Dagon's demise, that was a reenactment of how it actually went down, where I come up with the idea of, this is my final year. I contacted you and told the kids, and something just didn't sit right with finishing it as Strange. Like, as much as I enjoyed being Strange, it was fun, it was lighthearted, it was crazy, but the bigger picture was, I knew my last match and the person I wanted to give my career to was Spawn. Like, I wouldn't have given it to anybody else. And just, we've never planned it this way, but nobody had ever beat Dagon, Redface, and Strange, ever. It was either they beat 2 out of the 3 or 1 out of the 3. And Spawn beat the Redface Demon. He then beat Strange for the Hebrides Championship up in Alba. And the thought process was, it's all story driven, everything we've ever done. And for Spawn to kind of like step out of the shadows, as he says, he would have to ultimately beat the whole version of
The whole
Dagon.
package.
Yeah. And to be fair, I had to slow down. Like, there was no hiding that. I had to stop doing the crazy stuff, and I had to kind of reel it in a bit to make sure I got the Grandslam too. So the new version of the original Dagon, that give us the opportunity to kind of like do stuff that was quite slow but very character driven. And the only way I would ever have done Dagon again and brought Pandemus back was with Davey, who was my original manager. He was the original person who created Pandemus. And even if I got his blessing and he weren't there, I would never have done it.
You know what? You've just said his name and he's just appeared. Yeah, it just said on my other device, David Forster's watching. Like magic.
You best not be like hiding somewhere.
Like Summer's Pandemus and the mouthpiece arrived.
Yeah. But yeah, if Davey, well, he actually did. Davey said no twice. When I ran him, where he was at this difficult period where he was kind of really close and good friends with me, and he was really close and good friends with another promoter. He didn't want to ruffle any feathers, which I was fine with. I was like, no, completely understand. I don't want you to become like a middleman because he struggles with mental health. So he said no, and I was like, oh, that's fine. I continued being strange, and then I got the message saying, let's do it. And I wish he'd seen like the smile that struck, because I come into this with Davey, with Pandemus, and I want to end it that way.
Yeah, Davey's he's been saying it a lot lately. It sticks in my head, you know. I don't know why. He's Pandemus born, Pandemus bred, and when he dies, it'll be Pandemus dead. And I don't know why that sticks in my head. And it's the loyalty that man's had to you. Wow.
Yeah,
it's crazy. And he loves getting in on everything.
So there was a period when, like, Davey kind of like drifted away from wrestling for a bit, but we never stopped speaking. We were always really close, and every message I would get from him, it was always tagged on the bottom, either Summer's Pandemus or it was, you can take the boy out. It was when I was Red-Faced Demon. He was like, you take the boy out of Pandemus, but you never take Pandemus out of the boy. And I was like, yep. And it is, Pandemus is a made-up thing. It's a made-up group. But for me, it just shows loyalty. Pandemus is essentially my family. Like Lilith, Spawn, Persona came into it, how close I am with Davey. The multiple people that's played priests in the past. Have all been really close. Yeah, they've all been really close to me behind the scenes. So it's just like a special bond that we had. And like I say, if he said no, that version of Dagon would never have came back.
So we got Davey back. Davey's on board and he's ready to do it. What's next? Because I think when we made the reenactment, that was, 6 weeks before Grandslam?
Yes, that's right. So from there, I sat down with Joe. I explained to him, like, this is me last year. I want one final story. I kind of feel like the fans deserve that, because I've always said I think I'm an average wrestler, but I can light your world up with a story. Yeah.
Can I just add? I remember a conversation me and Joe had actually when you first announced this, and we were I was gonna bet him on it, and he was like, you know what? There's no way John's gonna retire. I absolutely guarantee it. Nah. And I was like, I think he might this time. You know, he's like, nah, he'll miss it too much. Still stick by that?
Yeah, 100%. I do. I'm missing it already, but I've got to listen to you, buddy. But yeah, I spoke to Joe and I explained to him how I was feeling. Obviously, it weren't up until 2 months ago where I started getting private help with me back. And the words that come out my physio's mouth of, if you continue doing this, you're going to be in a wheelchair. And I couldn't put like my friends, my family, and my work like in that predicament. but I knew I still had a few left in us. But when I spoke to Joe, he was respectful. He understood. He sounded gutted. You never really know with Joe, but he sounded gutted. But he gave me free run of what I wanted to do. He said, I know that you'll have people that you want to face. I know you'll have stories that you want to tell. So kind of the floor is yours in a sense, as long as it makes sense. And then the person he was supposed to face at Grandslam couldn't make it. So the next message I gave him was, not fancy another one, me and you. Grandslam. And he jumped at it, to be fair, because Joe's my trainer. I've always said
There it is.
that, yeah. I've always said with Joe, like, I'm grateful for everything everyone's done for us with me training, but Joe kind of pushed us on to be better than I ever imagined that would be. And to face him at our first show, with that again was another emotionally driven show. It was nervous, it was scary.
You will be missed inside the ring, but you will always stay IWF Dagon.
Yeah. Yeah, so going into that show with Persona, again, it was the story side of things. It was, how do I kind of pull away from Strange a bit? And we've done I'm a big fan of Bray Wyatt. I did the entrance before when he passed away.
My favourite entrance to this day.
And I'd done the Asylum type of thing. It was a bit like the Firefly Funhouse, where Strange was going a little bit balmy because he knew Strange couldn't beat Persona as he was. And I said to Persona, I was like, what do you think the crowd would react if the Red Faced Demon music hit?
So there was a big comment just come in. It's truly been an honour to manage you, mate. It still gets to me emotionally when I recall a moment you said you wanted me to manage you, and respect you for putting your career in my hands. When you said that I was the only guy you trusted to manage you, would have loved to have got that on camera.
Yeah, before I go fully into the story of the match, because I understand we're going to go through each match I've had and the story behind it and why it happened. But yeah, when I first created the Dagon gimmick, the original one, Davey was kind of used as a joke at the time. He was like a joke gimmick, and I thought instantly Undertaker Paul Bearer. That's kind of what I've seen, but I liked how much he put in. I liked how intense he was. I liked his passion, and I said to him, we're standing, funnily enough, we're doing a live show, and it was 57 minutes past 6. That's where the 6:57 comes from. And I asked him, like, would you manage it? And he was in shock. And I went, I think, with your mouth, because I was Latin at the time. And I just thought he could drive us on to bigger things, like just by being on camera with him and him being ringside. And it worked. It really did.
It kind of reminded of like a Kane or The Undertaker with a Paul Bearer type of manager with them.
Yeah, that was kind of the vibe. And albeit we were supposed to be the big bad heels, and the fans went nuts as soon as I walked through the curtain. I think it was the look, like the face paint and kind of the aura about it, and the theatricals from the priest. But it got mega over, and I was just instantly this massive face. And Davey, don't put it in the comments, Davey, because it's not one of them shows, but he used to say, I could walk into someone's house at Christmas, do specific things, and walk out and still get a pop. And I think you've heard the quote before.
Yes.
But yeah, and it was that belief he had in us as well that got us to where I was. So I massive thanks to Davey. But yeah, Grandslam won. The
Yes.
story of that match for me was the Red-Faced Demon kind of brought Persona into the Fallen Angel. And it was his time to kind of get one back over on him. It was his time to step up to the person who kind of made him the way he was, made him this evil being. And it was his time to conquer that. So all of these sort of matches that I had was kind of like closing the book as we went. And that was the start. And in my opinion, up there, one of my top 5 matches ever with Persona that night. We didn't hold any punches back. We went for it. And the right person won, because I think when you open a new company, you want your main guy to be someone that can drive the company. And Persona was that guy.
You want the very best to showcase why you are the company.
100%. And I would never, ever, ever disagree with that decision, ever.
Brian in the comments there. Sorry, Brian, I am getting to it. The room exploded when the Red-Faced Demon's music hit. It did. It did. Everyone loves the Red-Faced Demon.
The Red-Faced Demon was a bit of a prick last time I seen him. So I was shocked. And me in that room, 250 strong, like stand on the turnbuckle as the Red-Faced Demon, and that reaction, like it was kind of an out of body experience. It was weird, but it just made it more intense. And the more intense it got, the thinner the air got in the room, the more adrenaline was pumping through us. So no matter what was happening, I didn't feel it. Day after I did, but
I do. I remember it very, very well. I was on the camera back then. Jesus Christ! It was a very hot night. Very, very hot night.
Was the ESPN was nearly up coming through the curtain. Never mind during the match.
So Persona beats you. He becomes the IWF champion. His reign of terror begins in the IWF. What happens with Strange next?
So we go on to Night of Champions, where I had a bit of a scuffle with Simon G. Money.
I don't even have a match card for that because it wasn't scheduled.
No. So Simon G. Money is a very theatrical kind of performer. Very funny. Yeah. And I've never shared the ring with him. So I think in a show there's got to be balance. You have like your intense stuff, you have your storytelling, you have your technical brilliance on there. You've always got to have some light-hearted fun, in my opinion. So stage was mine. So I get in there, I try and make him do a bottle flip for a contract. I cheat. I have an arm wrestle with him for a contract. I cheat. He then offers us a match where, honestly, it was one of them matches. I think we've done 2 wrestling moves, but it was just so funny.
The night Imperial rules were born.
Yeah. We played by Imperial rules, and I cheated to win and accidentally mooned them to the crowd.
It was funny.
No, it was good because Simon, he's one of the guys, along with Colin and Jamie, who run Dropkick. And those guys help us out a lot in the beginning. And the continued support's still there. And I've wrestled Jamie multiple times. I'd love to wrestle Colin. Doesn't have to be scheduled. come out of retirement for that one.
Oh God,
Nah,
I don't know who'd win that.
Collins, like I look at him like he's like a father figure in a sense where like he's always passing his wisdom down. He's always ringing to see how we are and stuff like that.
I
And
feel like that on show day. He's like everyone's father figure on show day.
yeah, like the day after the show, the last one, come downstairs at 9:30, sit in my front room, and he's like, "Oh, let's go for breakfast." I'm like, "All right, let's go." um, but I'd never really done anything with Simon. Like in other companies, we're never really crossed because it was this comedy thing, and I was either a really evil, red-faced man, or I was like a serious lilac demon. So when the opportunity arose was strange, I was like, get some of this in you.
100% Colin.
Yeah. Oh, is that a beat, mate? Yeah, I agree. And then later on that night, I believe Adrenaline Kid got beat by a bulldog, which Brian will tell you. He looks up at the bar. I'm sat at the bar. I'm going,
Yeah.
Let's go and start some Natoya. And this was kind of like the end of Strange, this show. I get in the ring. I'm a bit back and forth with Natoya. Then I quit. And we get a new general manager, which me and Joe was planning for months.
Yeah.
And DJB didn't have a clue.
No, I'm looking back on the footage now. I look back at it, and I can see Joe and Madriel with their phones out pointing, and they're not pointing at the curtain or in the crowd. They're pointing it at me.
Yeah, it was one of them where, for me, I remember like the stuff that you were promised before, and the stuff that I was kind of the one that you'd always send your ideas to. I was the one that you kind of say, "Oh, when I become this, what do you think of this?" And it all sounded like really good ideas. And when I spoke to Joe about it, we're both like in agreement straight away. Like when Strange starts wrestling full time again, it was going to be you, and you were going to get that position. And I'm glad it went that way because I think the crowd really took you straight away. And I think like everything you do behind the scenes, you get your flowers on a show day because like you are the Empire's general manager.
I love what I do.
Yeah, so the second show, yeah, the story was have some lighthearted fun, get rid of Strange completely. Surprise you with the general manager role, and you made your first signing as Dagon in any incarnation.
Yes. I love that because that means that segues into what happened next. But before what happened next, another giant announcement from Davey Dudes.
Oh, I always believed
in you. Yeah, you read it.
I saw the potential in the effort you put in. Managing you to double goal within your first 12 months was amazing. Now watching Spawn come through when those just starting out, I look back at that as something proud uncle of the Bambinos. Just because you're retired doesn't necessarily mean Pandemus is dead. As long as Spawn and Earth are on the scene, Uncle Davey won't be far away. No, he's right. Lilith and Spawn. Although Spawn's the big bad guy now, they still carry the Pandemus banner. And listen, one member of the Lilac family exits. One journey's just beginning, and it's not a matter of time before Lilith steps in.
Again, before we move on, I'm going to put this on. Welcome, Matty Mayhem.
Whoa.
You want to read that one?
I was thinking about making a post about your retirement. I didn't want to pretend that we've been best mates for years, but it's a shame it took so long for us to get to know each other. Mainly on my part, I've explained to you privately you misplaced here with allowing It's best be your top two. Thanks for me that WF. Do you know what? I'm actually glad that comment came up because for years, there's been many of talent, but especially like Matty, where we were kind of told that he didn't like us. Every shot that was made was about us. It was about the talent, and as Matty just said, there's hatred for something kind of bounced onto us. And when I first left where we were, and I went to a show, I didn't know whether to approach Matty. I didn't. So I was like, will he shake my hand? Will he not? Like, is everything going to be all right? And honestly, I have never met a nicer person. I've never met a nicer fella backstage than Matty. He does so much for like every show that he's on.
Yeah, he's
like,
a proper canny bloke.
He is like, he boosts up the young'uns. He puts his arm around you if you need it. He'll give you that vote of confidence. And
he gave me a signed trading card.
And he goes out and he smashes us. So I think that's a perfect example of don't judge a book by its cover or what you've been told the cover is. Because, like, to me, and I've said it from as well, like Imperial eating classes of home turf because there's always a place from here. And that's not just because of how good he is in the ring. That's purely because of the person that he is. And that goes the same for a lot of people, like Scoop, who just had an IWF. What a guy. I'm trying to think of other people that came across. Tommy Cartel, what a fella.
Blaze of Glory.
Blaze of Glory, absolutely sound. Like really nice lads. And, you know, I spent a lot of time the last show looking backstage, looking around, and everyone was just happy. And that's something that I think is something that I take real pride in, that's my locker room.
Yeah, there's no walking on eggshells or anything like that. You can all just be yourself, have a laugh, get to work, have fun.
Well, after that show, all at the back drinking champagne and smoking cigars. It was great.
Yes, yep. I missed out on the champagne. I was doing general manager duties, but I did manage to nab a cigar. So
then we'll go on to September.
Strange gone. Dagon in any incarnation is back, and the first thing I think I made 2 announcements that night. One was to hire you, and then I made a match. I'm sure
you did. It was balls count anywhere between me and Nate Sawyer.
There it is.
So the reason why this match was picked again is someone I've never faced in Nate. And when you look at the two gimmicks, when you look at the Red Face team, you look at Nate Sawyer, you think that could get nasty. It did. But the person behind the mask is actually my brother-in-law. So to never have faced him, it was a shame, and I wanted to create something with him. We've done the story of where he kidnapped Lily, and
tremendous. That some of the videos that went out,
and that got dark and dingy, didn't it? Like there was parts where there was a news flash that I'd set his house on fire. Then
I remember making that.
I fought through all his goons, and there was blood all over us. So it was obviously funny, but you know, and it was the first promo. I mean, I am allowed to say that word because it's behind the curtain.
Yes, I'll allow it.
Yeah, it was the first video I've ever done where, like, I was emotionally drained after doing one. There was a video where I was in Lily's room, and I had a picture of me and her, and I just screamed, and like even talking about it now, like gets us rushing because
I remember that.
I believe so much in what we're doing, what we're portraying, and like it really got us. And when I was the red-faced demon, I had to put myself in like a really dark place because I'm not an angry person. I'm not a nasty person, and just that video alone, like, choked us up. It has a bit of a mess, but the match itself was again to have that feud with Nate, but also to finally get rid of the red-faced demon. Because as we know, I came back as Dagon after that, and the whole part of the story was he knew how to beat us with holy water.
Yeah.
Holy water was
Yep.
holy water was the thing that drew the evil away from Dagon and got rid of the red face. And if I remember right, he made us drink it, hit us with his finisher, then I went to the table from the ring on the outside.
Yep.
Possibly a move I shouldn't have been doing with me back, but
Yeah.
it was really good. Yeah, so, and I do think that we made a bit noise with that match as well. It was one that people wanted to see, the crowd had always wanted to see it. So we kind of delivered.
So the red-faced demon is completely extinguished via holy water, and then we see the return of Dagon. I remember leading up to this as well. Not leading up to this, quite a while before this, when you were planning it, you were sending us pictures of what you were going to look like coming out. I know you went through a lot of different thought processes behind it, but what made you stick with the initial one?
Is this
The one that you used?
The mask?
Yes.
So the initial idea behind the mask was Nate disgraced Dagon by beating him after everything he did to his family, everything he did to his daughter. So he wore a mask to hide the shame. That was kind of the idea behind the mask. The top, when I originally started out, I had a t-shirt with upside down cross on, and I wanted to incorporate that into my gear. And I took a lot of inspiration on the bottoms from Kane. So like the flames were on the side. I had like the press studs as well. And the white boots just I thought looked cool. So I wanted some white boots. And the return couldn't have been a better show than the Halloween show, the St. Benedict's Hospice one. I think we've got a graphic for that one.
There it is.
I just want to make.
Oh yeah,
that's right. I just want to make a point. I'm not going to name names, but someone's dad believed that the image in black was people that are 6'5" and like 18 to 20 stone. So I just want to put it out there. I don't look like that on that picture. But no, this show, it meant a lot.
Yeah.
This one was, it was painful to put on, but painful in a good way. It's obviously Brian works at St. Benedict's, and our my mother-in-law was in there, and we want to try and raise money to help, because when you're in there, you see like the people who they're not getting paid, but they're volunteering, and the work that they put in for people, it's mental. And we thought if we can help just a little bit, then we'll push it as far as we can. We end up naming the full show pretty much after it. And that night, Spawn faced Nate Sawyer where, because the show before Spawn came out and he tried to protect his dad and his sister, and he ended up having a match with Nate, which was just a hardcore match, was it? It was just hardcore, wasn't it?
It might have been, yeah.
Yeah.
And then the following one was the body bag.
Oh no, it was a body bag match. Yes, this
Body
was the
bag.
body bag. Yeah. And I came out at the end of it. Helped Spawn win, and it was kind of like a shock. Like, whoa, my dad in his original form was back. And Davey came back. Davey returned, and he cut this big promo of,
Oh,
like,
God. As Colin says, never give Davey a live mic.
yeah. He cut this promo saying, like, the leader of Pandemus is back, and
Yep.
Spawn, one day you will become the leader. Again, building the story for Grandslam 2. There was a point where I'm up on the turnbuckle, Spawn is, and he's looking over at me with, like, utter jealousy and utter, like, anger that I'd get
Little
involved
Easter
in this match.
eggs.
Yeah, totally. That's what we've been trying to do. And then on the night, there was the Rumble, and Lilith. Well, the last four was Lilith Persona as he was hanging on the ropes, me and Spawn. And when we're in the ring, if you watch, I'll look at Spawn and I point at Lily as if to say I want her to win. So we'll hug it out, and then we'll get eliminated. Lily goes on to win. And then there's another image where Lilith's on a knee with a cup, on one side clapping, Davey's doing a thing in the middle, and Spawn's just looking over at me as if to say, you just picked your daughter.
Yeah.
Like, why not me? Where essentially Lily was the reason, because of how close she was to her gran, winning that trophy, and winning the big sunflower. So it was kind of like Dagon was trying to do right by his kids, but one of his kids didn't take it that way. And we've done a video where we were talking, and he hugs us, and he goes like that, I've got you back.
Yeah.
Putting the knife in. So there was little things in that month that was ready to build a Grandslam, and Grandslam was like 9 months away. But yeah, overall, like, I just want to thank everyone again that donated to that show as well, because we had a lot of donations, and we raised a lot of money for St. Benedict's. We made it the Sunderland Echo.
Yeah.
Well, I thought was mental.
That was
and
mental.
it was just a lovely evening. It was a good show, and I think everyone that went there and wore their heart on the sleeve, like, I can't thank them enough.
Evening, Matty.
Matty.
I remember what time was it? Yeah. No. I remember the poop and heat I got from that debut promo. 1 second of a 3-hour show. Ha ha ha.
He did. But that's not what tonight's about, David.
No. So Lily wins the Rumble. And then we move on to Christmas.
It was the Gauntlet.
Oh, the Gauntlet, yes. The Gauntlet.
Yeah. So this one I spoke about on the Wrestling Report. I faced Alfie Jackson. So outside of wrestling, I'm really close with this kid. To the point where he jokes and calls his dad sometimes. Gets his Father's Day presents. But ultimately, like, he's a young lad, and when he needs telling, he needs a harsh reality, I'm kind of the person that does it for him.
Yeah.
And he respects that, and I respect that he listens. And years ago, I asked for a match with him, thinking that I would take him through a match. He was very, very, very new. And I thought, I'm on top of my game here. I can take him through a match. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Couple of minutes in the match, and I realised I ain't experienced enough to carry this guy through a match. And it sucked. It sucked. So the opportunity to face him again was kind of like right and wrong. It was kind of like me saying, "Yeah, we had a bad match before. It was my fault. Let's go and tear it down IWF." And I believe we did. I believe we had a good match. Some of the stuff that he'd been practicing and training, we managed to get in. And again, he was another one of the roster that kept us safe throughout the match. With the level that Alfie was at that point, like not level as in skill wise, but his character at the time, it meant I could take it quite slow because I was built up as this big, powerful demon, and he was like he just know he was still tag team champion. But there were kind of the comedic side of things. So I had time to like kind of rest during the match. I had time to recover.
Oh, hi, Cesar.
But we told a good story, and we had a solid match, and we went and done not the same match, but we faced each other again down Firestar a couple of weeks after.
You read that one, it's for you.
This is something I mean, I appreciate with what Luke just said there, I do, but I disagree with the portion of it. When we decided to walk out of a previous promotion, I'm trying to pick my words right here, and we weren't going to another promotion. We weren't planning on doing anything after that. We just wanted to kind of reflect, me and Joe. And then when everyone walked out with us, they give us the belief because they believed in us. They kind of said, "I'm happy to risk my wrestling career to follow you." So that kind of made us think, what, these guys, like, they believe in what we do. They trust us. So that drove us. And without that vote of confidence, I don't think we would ever have done this.
Just as Ali said, all of my career at you, John, I wouldn't have any confidence nor the chance to show it without you advocating for me. And it goes on to what you were saying before about Ali as well. The way he looks up to you. He believes in you. He believes in IWF, and it's not just you and Joe. It's everybody.
It is. Like, everyone that stepped through that curtain, everyone that is commentated, rang the bell, played the music, counted the 3, announced the match, like, it picked up someone's jacket and took it backstage, got a wrestler a drink of water when they're thirsty. Like, every single person is made this a success. It's not just like us in the creative team or me and Joe as the owners. That every single bit, the fans, like, turn up the numbers every month. Like, that's made IWF successful and believing in the vision. So that's kind of like me pushing it back on them. Like, yeah, I appreciate the nice words, but they've got to take some accountability of how much they've done for this. Because without them, we'd be nothing.
Yeah. So, where were we up to? Was it the Gauntlet?
Up to December now.
December. So now we're up to Christmas. 12 Days of War.
Yeah.
And there's the poster for it there.
So this was kind of...
Oh, God, I know what's coming. Ooh.
Yeah. This was the end of the feud between me and Nate. It was kind of like the big win for Dagon to kind of push him on to build him as this force that when Spawn did turn, it was going to be like can Spawn do this? Because the fans had seen us for like months being an idiot playing with Pokemon cards and talking to teddies and drinking Iron Brew. So this match was quite brutal. It was never meant to be that way. Where it was a 3 stage of hell, if I remember rightly. The final stage, we got out of the ring, and because I'd watched Home Alone a week beforehand, I thought it'd be a good idea if we get a snow shovel and clock near toy with it.
Was that a good idea?
No, not realize I didn't protect himself quick enough and popped his head like a spot. It was awful. Like, it was, as a performer, when something like that happens and you see blood, and it was that, like, it was a lot of blood. My instant thought was, is he all right? Is he all right? Like, you wouldn't see it, but there was a couple of times where I grabbed him or I did something to keep him down, and I was seeing him, are you all right? You're all right, squeezing his hand. And I was on the phone to him all night after that, just making sure he was fine. Obviously, head injuries and things like that. That did kind of rock us a bit, because I pride myself on never hurting anyone.
Yeah,
I never have. And for an incident like that to happen, and the crowd knew that wasn't meant to happen, so it just went silent, and people were actually seeing Nate just stay down. Like,
yeah, I shouted. So I calls when I'm speaking about Sawyer. I shout Sawyer. When I'm speaking to Nate, I call him Nate, and I shouted from the side, Nate, stay down, and I meant Nate, stay down, don't get up. I could tell. I don't like the sight of blood, but so that was like, ooh, for me.
yeah, it was scary. It was a scary time, but what did it add to the feud? No, it gave a few good visuals, few good pictures.
It looked great. It looked menacing.
But in the moment, it's not something that we wanted at IWF. Like, we don't want the blood. We don't want, like, anything where the fans think that's too far. We want a fun, family-friendly show. What is entertaining. Thankfully, he did stay down, and he got the ring quite quickly. He got backstage. He got cleaned up. He got looked at by our first aiders, and he was fine. But it's one of them running jokes. Like, we'll go football, or he's running about with the ball, and I'm shouting, I'll get my shovel, or like, well, I'll kind of visit him and I'll pull a shovel out and I'll be like, I'll twat you with this. But it's all fun and games now, but at the time, like, yeah, it knocks me confidence up, because I actually hurt somebody at that point, and someone that's so close to us, it's never a nice feeling.
So you knock Nate Sawyer out. He's down. He's finished. Have I got this in the right order? I think it was it the King's Rebellion next?
Yes, King's Rebellion was next.
So Dagon needed a challenger, and was this our first like debut we had? I can't remember. A proper debut.
I believe so.
So yes, first proper. How did you come about deciding who you? Well, I know it's not just you, but how did you come about deciding who to face?
So, Marshall is a guy that predominantly wrestles, what's that deathmatch company called? Rise, and Firestar. And I met him at Firestar when I faced them in a match as the Red-Faced Demon. And we kind of just clicked straight away. Well, a couple of phone calls before I travelled down. We got on so well, and we had that in-ring chemistry that it's very hard to find if you don't train with someone. Like, you just click. And after this match, I was supposed to face him again down Firestar, and unfortunately, I got hurt. He was hurt, and he got in the ring, and he cut up. Well, I say cut from he explained why he weren't wrestling that night, and he called me in the ring from the crowd, and he gave us a hug, and he whispered in my ear. He went, "I'm genuinely gutted. I don't get the chance to wrestle you one more time." And that's when realization hit. That was when I was like, I'm in my final run here. But I appreciated the fact that he'd done that. But this match alone, it was King's Rebellion were at the Grindon for the first time. Full room at the Grindon, and it was, I just wanted to face him as this version of Dagon. Was told the story of the match. It was a good show opener, and I believe he come in with that attitude of, I'm going to make Dagon look $1 million, and he did. Someone I definitely want back at IWF.
Yeah, I agree. So you beat Warner. Dagon next, but yes, I think this is the right order. Throne of Vengeance.
Throne of Vengeance, yeah.
Throne of Vengeance. So you got the rematch finally.
It wasn't meant to be, and this one's very bittersweet. So, it was always planned that I was going to get the IWF Championship, and pass it on to Spawn. But just after King's Rebellion, I had a phone call of Walker, and me and Walker's like, we've been mates for years, like over a decade, and he just didn't seem right. And when I asked him what was happening, and I'm not going to go too in depth into it because it's very personal, but he just weren't good at the time. He was our champion, and he asked if he could take some time out, and he didn't want to do the match I had scheduled because he didn't trust himself at the time with where his head was at, and I respected his wishes. Told him, take as much time as you need. The second you're ready to come back, the doors open, which, as we've seen, has happened. But yeah, it was a nervous time because, like, being that close to someone, knowing that they're struggling, like, you just want to do what's right by them. And in my opinion, what he was going through was a lot more important than doing a championship match 2 weeks after. So we thought, well, we're having a coffin match. It's the rematch, Dagon versus Persona. But this was Persona's idea for this match. He wanted to put me over in a sense of, let's get Dagon like on form. Let's give him that coffin match that the IWF hasn't seen. And again, some of the stuff that we did in there, like the choke slam off the coffin, put a bin over me head and coup de grace the bin. That rocked us a little. That was great. I just remember lying in the bin thinking, this match is really good. Right. But again, Joe's one of the safest people I've ever been there with. Even though some of the stuff we did was high impact, it could have been dangerous. He kept us safe, and the moment of claiming the IWF Championship, if you watch the footage back, I nearly break because that went on my mind. Like, some people were like leading up the show, like, how's it feel like you're going to be the IWF champion? I was like, I haven't even thought about it. And then when it happened, it was kind of like everything that I put my belief in, everything that I've drove for, I've got in my hands. Like, this is that was my moment. I'd never had a moment in IWF before, and that was it. And I'll never forget, Spawn got in the ring afterwards and give us the sunflower, and I raised it. And it was kind of like the emotion was raw, very raw.
Zoe was screaming loud during the coffin match.
Yeah, if you watch any of the Patreon and you hear screaming during my match, that's just my anxious girlfriend on the bell. But yeah, no, for me, that was one of my favorite matches ever. It was fun. It was intense. It had a lot of meaning to it. And like I said, just to have that moment afterwards was sensational. And for Joe to do that for us when I'm coming up to the end of my career, like I can't thank him enough. Because there's a whole lot of room that he could have put that on before me. Do you know what I mean?
After becoming IWF champion, you didn't hold on to it for long.
I didn't.
No, so I'm wondering. I mean, I've got my theory about the process behind that. I know I was in the talks for a lot of it, but I'm guessing you didn't want to keep it on you for long because there was you weren't meant to have it originally.
Yeah. So I wasn't meant to have it at this point. And I faced Asylum.
Can I just point out as well, all of these posters and match cards are absolutely beautiful, and a lot of people are confused and think, "Oh, DJB does loads of graphics and stuff. It's probably him." No, I don't do any of them. It's all John. John does all the posters and all of the match cards.
Yeah, it's one of the jobs I really enjoy. But yeah, with fun fact for you with Asylum. The first show I ever did, I was in a rumble, and Asylum comes in and picks us up and slams us around like a wet paper towel. So he's been there since I've begun. I was an absolute greenhorn, and Asylum looked after us in that rumble. But I thought, do you know what? Like, I've been around to different places. And I actually, when I say different places, there was one place where there was a lot of jealousy around championships. There was a lot of, oh, if I win this championship, I need to keep this for at least 6 months to look really good. And I thought, doesn't need to be like that. WWF, like, remember when Kane won it and dropped it?
You had it for a night?
Yeah. And I thought, let's shock the fans. Let's take them on this ride and let's make Asylum beat Dagon. And we did, and it was a big shock. No one expected it. Asylum was probably the right man to do it because of his size, his energy.
I agree with this comment. Regal Rampage poster is the best one. It's the white and the gold and the black just go so well together.
Yeah. No, and again, Asylum was definitely somebody I wanted to work before I called it a day. He was someone I wanted to share the ring with in a one-on-one. He's so good. He's done this for so many years. And again, because he'd done it for that long, I knew that man was going to keep me safe. And I knew I wasn't going to come out of that not being able to walk or not being able to reach the goal of Grandslam 2. And even though he did, again, slap us around like a wet paper towel, he looked after us, and like the match was good. I enjoyed it. And the story was told.
Thing is, a lot of people see Asylum. He's a massive bloke, covered in tattoos. You see him walking towards you, and a lot of people would be like, "Oh, he's a lovely bloke." He is.
Yeah. Once he puts his braces on, though, he's not.
Oh no! As soon as them braces go on, that's it. Get out, run. But
But again, Asylum's one of them that we reached out when we first started IWF. And I can't stress enough how much we had to rebuild reputations when we first started IWF. There was a lot of people that didn't know whether they could trust specific people. They didn't know whether we were part of the problem. They didn't know what we were like. And I don't blame them for thinking that. I don't blame them for being a bit standoffish. But Asylum was in. Like, he knew us prior. And he kind of put his eggs in our basket and went, yeah, I'll work for Imperial, and I can't thank him enough for that.
He's put on some fantastic matches as well. Most recent match at Grandslam against Walker. Fantastic match. Loved it. Asylum obviously beat you to the championship.
Yeah.
Where do you then move on to?
So this was our Mortal Kombat theme show, Crown's Endgame.
I love it. Look at that poster.
So the story going into this, and this was Spawn again. You've lost the belt. You take some time out. You're hurt. I'll go claim it for Pandemus. And that was kind of the story in this gauntlet match. And there was a mystery opponent, and the mystery was me. But I wanted to show that as much as Dagon was this demon, this man of power, like, he couldn't get the job done against Asylum the month before. So he had to do it when Asylum was on his knees. Which ultimately got Spawn jealous. And the Masked Man tried to ruin things again. People thought that was Persona. The coffin came out after the match. Persona comes out the coffin while the Masked Man's standing there. Persona gets in the ring, tells me to turn around. I turn around, and Spawn takes off the mask and fills in his dad. This is something that we planned. Well, when we recorded Dagons Demise, we thought it was going to be a good angle. It was the right time for Spawn. Yeah, but
the Hellhound.
Yep. And I think you bought that. Now it was moment of the year for a reason. And that was because it just shocked every person. If people in the locker room that weren't aware of what was happening got that shock factor, people in the crowd got the shock factor. And it was good to feel like, wow, this has been taken well. And I think at that moment when I'm laid on the floor, like, I knew at that moment that when we come to Loggerheads at Grandslam, we've done the job so far in the story.
Hey, big breath.
Yeah, we've done the job. Grandslam was set at that point. And props to Lilith as well. She took a super kick.
Yes. Oh, God, that super kick. Wow. Took it like a champ.
And Brian.
Yeah.
Got his fair share of chair shots that night.
Yeah, Brian got cracked. Oof.
You nearly did.
Nearly. No, I avoided it and knocked about 6 pints over.
Mm-hmm.
True story. So Spawn turns. Lilith's been kicked in the face. Your whole world is shattered. But then, is this when Walker returns the next show?
That's correct.
Yes, Our Legacy.
Yeah. So, a quick recap, if people don't know why this match meant so much. when I first started out, when I was training, I think I was there about 2 months, and someone went, "Oh, Walker's coming along." I was like, "I'm still Walker in a while." We used to play on like a YouTube pro clubs team together, so we were always in contact. And he came in, and we trained together for a bit. And the stars aligned while we faced each other in our first match. While the feud from there, faced each other again in our second match. Then we've done multiple different rivalries. The first opportunity I got where I needed a tag team partner, I chose Walker, and Strange Street was born.
Yeah.
And when you watch some of the videos that we did, when you watch some of the stuff we did in the ring, like not the moves and stuff like that, like just when we're together, that's just me and Walker. That is just us. That's what we're like. Like the cheating on Monopoly, and I flip the thing, and like he forgets to bring me iron brew. Like that's legit. Mine and Walker's kind of relationship. Obviously, when we're in Strange Street, his father passed away, and it was a tough time. But I believe that the fun that we were having at the time kind of helped in a way, because we kept his memory alive. And then when this opportunity come round to face him again, I snapped at it. I was like, I need to get back in there with Walker. I need that one last match. I don't know if he was in the same sort of boat as Joe at this time, where he was like, you're saying it's our last match, but will it be? But no, it was. And there was a lot of things in that match kind of didn't go to plan, but we knew each other that well. We could switch it around and looked out for each other. We told a good story. Very split crowd. Very split crowd, because Walker is one of the fan favourites. And that set up the tag team match with me and Alan against the Legion in June.
Yes, I believe you were Walker. So the way this match ended, I believe, was you were both attacked simultaneously, so it was declared a no contest instead of having a winner either side. Alan Shaw then comes out and makes the save, and the tag matches then made.
So there was a reason why I wanted a no contest. So if you look at our past, I think me and Walker's like 3-3. So this would have been like the rubber match in a sense. And I needed to retain for obviously the end goal.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to beat Walker, because Walker's got a lot of years left in him. He's going to be massive in IWF. He is. And I didn't want to kind of take that away from him. I didn't want to be victorious over him in a sense. I mean, it sounds silly because it is just like for the story, for the rivalry and stuff like that. But I felt like I couldn't book Dagon to beat Walker. So the perfect finish would be that it's a no contest, and it's Spawn and Persona ruins the day. And then Alan Shaw gets involved.
Sovereign Shield champion at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
I would say the staples of the Empire in the ring: Alan Shaw, Walker Wall Street, and Dagon.
Yeah.
Leading the tag match. Now the tag match, I was really looking forward to this, because all four of yous working in the same ring together, and I knew going in that you and Spawn wouldn't really get into the thick of things from the start of it. So that anticipation leading up to the first tag in that match was just can't do it. Is he going to do it now? You could see during the match, Alan, he was teasing it multiple times as well.
Yeah. For this story, it was so I'd never faced Alan before. I wrestled similar shows to him back in the day when he first started out. Trained with him a couple of times, but never really had the opportunity to work with him or against him. So there was an opportunity at Dropkick to face him, which I snapped at. It was one of them where I was telling people I'm only doing IWF shows because I'm really hurt and I don't want to ruin my big moment in a Grandslam. And Alan Shaw's opponent didn't turn up a Dropkick, and Colin rang us, and I was like, yeah, I'm in. I got me match with him. Same with Jakob at Dropkick. I got me match with him that I really wanted that wouldn't work at IWF. And when this come around, I thought, let's give him that moment in the main event. Like, Alan has been on board since day one. He was another one. I think the first four names I messaged was Johnny Wilson, message Danny K, Asylum, and Alan Shaw. They were the first 4 messages I sent. Then obviously Flashback and the list goes on. And Alan's been like kind of a figurehead for us. He's been in and around our Sovereign Shield division. He won the belt, and every match has been very consistent and very good. And I thought, yeah, let's put you in this story. Let's see what you can do. And he didn't disappoint.
Would you say you were taking a gamble here as well? Because I believe this is the first main event in IWF where neither of the 2, I'd say, main belts were actually on the line.
Yeah, it was a big gamble, but it was the setup for Grand Slam. You had your 2 singles champions in there, but it was for a stipulation. And Spawn had to pick the stipulation because I would never have.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you beat us, me career's on the line, like, the fans wouldn't have taken that right. So he had to be the one to pick that stipulation. And he said I could pick the match type, which was no holds barred. And the reason behind it is, if Dagon was going to see if Spawn was ready to roll without him, it would have to be in a match of that type to see how vicious he can be. And by far,
Alan!
By far, that's got to be my second favourite match of all time. Absolutely all time. It was so good. And to be honest, it was the 3 lads that I was in with that made it that good. I got me bits in, but to watch them give it all in the main event in an IWF match and being part of it, it was like a proud moment. If this is my second from last match, but wow, what have we just put on there? Like, that was spectacular. I can't thank the 3 of them enough for being a part of that, and giving me that memory of. Like, I did think, I'm not gonna lie, after that match, I thought, I can still do this. I can still I might just have a few more than just one left in us, but that wasn't to be because a Grand Slam.
Yes, since the Legion won, they picked their stipulations. Obviously, Persona picked it just a standard one-on-one match, wanting to prove he can beat Alan Shaw clean. And you know what? I even said at ringside at Grand Slam to Persona as he rolled out the ring, I said, you know what? Props to you. You did it clean. Fair enough. Might not like the guy, but fair enough.
Well, what I do want to say before I discuss the match with Spawn, every single match before was outstanding. Like, Persona and Alan Shaw's match was incredible. Some of the stuff I didn't do, man. Like Gravity, forgot about them too. Then Walker and Asylum, like that was a year-long story. Two big meaty men just going at it, and like it was a breath of fresh air to watch. But then go into the triple threat tag team, like Danny and Ewan, what a team. The Detriment, who's like been one of the main figureheads of tag team wrestling in
that
IWF.
to me felt like the Shield breaking up.
Yeah. And then you had Blaze of Glory. Blaze of Glory is up there with one of my favorite tag teams of all time. Like the Reminder's like Too Cool and Too Cool.
Yes.
Love Too Cool. And the match that they put on, like some of the stuff was great. It was funny, it was lighthearted, but it had that intensity. The moment when Blaze of Glory won, the crowd went wild. Then you had the wedding, which shouldn't have worked. It shouldn't. There was no reason why that should have worked, but it did.
Oh, God, that had been talked about for ages leading up to it. I remember people weren't too sure about it, but hey.
Yeah. I'm backstage and I'm hearing the full crowd saying, I guess that's why they call it the Blues. And I was like, wow. Obviously, then this big story starts with Alfie and Hybrid.
Yep.
Gives the fans something to look forward to. Then we've got the 6-man next in line. We had people like Mike Mayhem in there. Scoop making his debut. Jakob. Johnny Wilson, Thunder, and Rory Shaw, like each and every one of them in that 6-way match, like any of them could have won, and you'd be like, fair enough. Like all incredibly talented. Then the women's match, Penelope and Kirsty, two absolutely outstanding women wrestlers. Again, another long story, because they were the first IWF women's singles match and the main evented for the first time, a women's main event. Again, outstanding, which then set the scene for me and Spawn. Like, they had that crowd hot. And then this match came. Me and Spawn backstage, we paced all night, because in a way I think it was a lot to ask of him. Like retiring his dad. You've seen the video, he didn't believe that it was my time, but I think over recent months he's realised that it is. He's brings us up every physio session, and that's how it goes. And when we're backstage, Spawn went through and Davey gives a hug, and he was like, I can't believe it's the last time, and that choked us up. So I go and stand outside, get some fresh air. And that beginning bit, that was like a personal message to the fans and a personal message to Spawn. Like, it was kind of like a farewell before it happens, in a sense. Then the crowd were so accommodating to the really long entrance. Taylor, my God.
Yes.
What an introduction. I've watched it back treble figures now. Okay, I get bumps every time. Every single time. Not often you see an announcer drop his phone and go to his knee because he's bellowing it out that much. But in all this match, it was my opportunity to give Spawn everything I had left. Like, some of the impact I took, shouldn't really have took. I wouldn't have done it in prior matches, but I wanted to give him that. I think the fans deserved it. showing up every month and following something that we believe in so much. I want to give that back to them. Normally in matches like that, you kind of see you'll do the big stuff, but then it'll die down a little bit, and you'll have the heel doing the chokes against the rope, or like chin locks, or whatever, kind of like pass a bit time. But I think we both knew that if I started season up, if I started if I twisted funny during any form of the match that wasn't really needed, it could have been like a very quick match.
Yeah.
Or we just went in and went at it. I was like, let's just full blooded. Diving out the ring for the first time. 5 years, I have never ever done that. Ever. The chop off.
Oh, yes. Every single one was a gunshot.
It was like every time I was being hit, I was like thinking, yep, that hurt, but no, I'm proud of you. Get one back. Then the big table spot. The only bit that I said that I don't know if it was to you or might have been to Brian, asked how I was the day after. And I said, if that wasn't donned as my last match, I would have called it a day now because of how I felt. So there was a moment in the match, and I don't know if you realised, but I didn't use a weapon on Spawn. It was kind of like Dagon would never do that. Well, the OG Dagon wouldn't.
There's a little behind the curtain. They sat comparing chests over McDonald's.
We did. Mine was worse. No, there was a spot where. So the story behind it is 4 years ago, on the 18th of July, my gran passed away, and we done the whole Pandemus Lilac. That was how it was originated. I know people know the story. And our finishing move was the Lilac Tear. So that's kind of how I wanted to go out with the Lilac Tear, especially being the 18th of July. So when we were getting to that point, I was like, look, everyone knows my back's hurt. I've got to give you a TKO, I'll bump on the chair. Regretted it instantly. Like, just to kind of explain like how I knew at that point that I was done. So when I got told I could end up being in a wheelchair, if I continued, when I landed on the chair, got a burning sensation in my lower back. It was a sensation like I've never had ever in my life. My legs went numb. I got tingly feeling in the back of both legs, and I instantly thought I can't get back up. I dragged myself up. I think it was pure adrenaline. And I even said to Spawn, I was like, if I had to do anything after that, I wouldn't have been able to. That's why I'm glad we planned the finish to be the Lilac Tear, because I weren't landing on my back. And there was kind of a drawing the curtain back moment at the end when he pins us. Like, Brian stutters, hits a 3 count, and I just wrapped me arm around him. No, yeah. It's kind of like, yeah, well done. He deserves it. Like, if you've watched Spawn's career, he's outshone me. He's outshone a lot of talent that trained with him at that point. And I said it on the Wrestling Report, and I'll see it here. Like, the likes of Spawn, Persona, Jakob.
So, funny you mentioned that. So it is a long one, so I'll read it out. You asked a lot of Spawn, giving him the chance to shine on his own, and has done an amazing job stepping up. The Empire has amazing young talent. Spawn, Persona, Jakob, Alfie, and Lilith are so talented. Spawn has proved he can step up and be trusted to mix it with the best we have to offer.
No, I agree. Like them names there, Alfie, Walker, Hybrids, like they've got something that I haven't really had in wrestling, and that's time.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of time. And I wouldn't be shocked if a good portion of them, when I say make it big time, I don't mean like, I'm not saying they're going to be WWE stars, which I hope they are at one point, but like your bigger independent promotions come in and pick them up and they get solid work through them. And then you look around, you got like Johnny Wilson, Johnny Flashback, Matty Mayhem, Scoop, like Rory Shaw. People in that locker room are so talented, and I just feel like I've never been in a place like this before. Like when I see home promotions, like I'm talking about a promotion where I've been for a while, and when I've looked around the locker room, there's always like that person shouldn't be on the at one point it was me. Shouldn't be on the show. You're too new, or you haven't paid your dues, or whatever. Then there was people that you think well past it, really should be giving other people a spotlight and whatnot. But then when you look around the Imperial locker room, especially like Grandslam and prior shows before that, you think, what a talented group of people. Like, everyone brings something different, and everyone's got a place on that card. And it's very rare that you see that. Very rare, but it's what the journey's brought us.
And that journey for Dagon is over.
It is.
It brings us to the first show without Dagon. And funnily enough, it's my anniversary show, because it's 1 year to this one. I became general manager.
That's right.
Night of Champions. And there's the future of the IWF on the cover right there. Every champion. Cannot wait to see who Fahrenheit finds to be his tag team partner. That's going to be fun. But again, beautiful poster.
Again, this show is kind of like the reset, if you want to say that. It's
new season.
We've been building up so much over the past year, and I think the fans have received it really well. I think everyone that's been involved has played their part really well. And can you think of an IWF show that won a good one? Because I can't. Now, I'm not just saying that being biased. Like, every show I've watched is just getting better and better and better. And this is going to be no different. I mean, I know people saying that they're going to be a miss and stuff like that, but what you need to look at is who is going to step up and be that big face. Who's going to be the new prince of the empire? Who's going to kind of get the believing in them?
I like to compare the likes of, if you look back and think the likes of like Stone Cold, The Rock. Yes, everybody loved them, everybody missed them for the first while after they were gone, but eventually they didn't forget about them, but they moved on and they accepted what was to come. They accepted what was next. And then you got the likes of John Cena afterwards, who's now gone, and then you've got the likes of the guys nowadays, Obafemi, people like that. Generations have got to move on, and the torch has to be passed on.
Totally. And there's a lot of people in that locker room that will be chomping at the bit to get that spot. And it's good, healthy competition. And I think the people who will step up to that will definitely drive Imperial to new heights. Like you said in that video, I'm going to be doing everything I can behind the scenes with Joe, with you, to make sure that this promotion just goes from strength to strength. We've got plans, we've got ideas, but it all starts with Night of Champions. It's the refresh, it's the reset button. You've got Fahrenheit, who is looking for a tag partner. Who's that going to be? Who can come in and not replace Mitch, but who can come in and give the fans that experience that Blaze of Glory can? Persona, who's now got the Sovereign Shield, the Workhorse Championship. That's always been the case with the Sovereign Shield. It's our Intercontinental belt. You've got to work hard for it. Who's going to face him? Who's going to... let's be honest, Persona is a workhorse. Who's going to work him the bone? Penelope. Just be Kirsty. And then turned on Lottie.
Didn't expect that, you know. Didn't expect that.
It's what's going to unravel there. And Spawn's dad, who he won the belt off, can't rematch him. So who's going to step up to the plate and try and get the main prize in IWF? I mean, the way I've done this poster, it's very futuristic. It's very looking into the future. And that's what this is all about. It's the future of IWF is very bright.
Yeah. It is.
It's going to feel really weird sitting there. I'll be listening, but I'll be able to sit on the other side with people just as important as the workers as well, and with the fans watching. Some of the fans have become really close with some of our talent, with me, and say the tears, man. Like that was heartbreaking, to be fair, because some of them have been there since day one. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's kind of like giving them it back. Like, you've watched the first season, now come watch the second, because it's going to get a bit more exciting.
Yeah. Brian says you've got to keep away from the walkie-talkies. Don't worry, bruv. We'll make sure he keeps away from the walkie-talkies.
So there's always an argument backstage who gets the walkie-talkies. It's either me or Joe. Joe once got kicked off the walkie-talkies, and I really can't remember why, but they decided to give it to me. So I didn't want to be on the walkie-talkie. So Strange as I Am Brew song was bellowed down that walkie-talkie for 20 minutes, and I got told I wasn't allowed on the walkie-talkie anymore.
Fantastic.
Well, that's what I'll be doing. I'll be directing. I'll be helping out, making sure it runs smoothly, and carefully picking what the next steps are for the Empire, in a sense, because it needs to go on. It needs to level up. That's what we need to do, and I think we've got the right roster to do that.
Yeah, I completely agree. So, John, we've been sat here for over an hour and a half now. We've gone through your IWF career, and we've spoken some about before that. We are at the end of our show, bruv, which is the time when you get to say whatever you want. It's your time. Anything you may have forgotten or anything you might want to mention.
I just want to reiterate how much I appreciate the fans, especially for believing in what we're doing, for turning up month after month. The show can't go on without them, and I'm just glad that we've give them that drama-free environment of Wayne, just come and enjoy some entertainment. It's what it is. Like, you want to come out, pay your money, have a good time, enjoy it, get some pictures, get a few autographs, and remember the night. That's what independent wrestling's about. It's not about the drama. It's not about Facebook statuses. It's not about, oh, this one said that, or don't go to this show. If I would advise people to go to multiple different shows, because different shows, different shows cater for different sort of entertainment. Some stuff that we do that you might not like, you might like something somewhere else. But ultimately, we try and cater for everyone. To the roster and every single person that is ever like believed in what we're doing. Anyone that's ever took booking, anyone that's ever been in that ring, or walked through the current IWF show, that includes the likes of you, that includes the commentators, that includes Zoya Madria, Brian, Ruby, Taylor. Like, a massive thank you. Without yous, again, the show wouldn't be what it is, and IWF wouldn't be what it is without yous. Spawn, I've got to thank. He has been a rock throughout the whole retirement tour, but it was kind of a secret retirement tour. Honestly, I'm so proud of him. Like, what he's done, and he's only scratching the surface of his career. Lilith, it's only just beginning, but again, she's been there for the past 3 years, like, by my side, no matter what gimmick I am. Like, she's there, and like, we've had a lot of fun. Davey, coming up with 5 year, Pandemus was born. Like, the memories we've had and will continue to have, like, outside of the ring, it's been amazing having them there. I feel like I'm just going on, but Joe, I really, really want to thank Joe for kind of allowing us to do the run that I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. Having that belief in us, and just becoming like family. I've always said that him and Leland are like brothers, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Absolutely great. People that is took the dive with us, that's kind of like give us that belief. That other promotions that I posted about the other day, podcasts, people that's booked our talent, people that's booked me, people that supported us. Thank you to them, because
Can I ask a favour?
Yeah.
Just one more time, for old time's sake and for Shady's sake, since we won't get a chance for you to do it again, will you say it's not about you, it's about Smee? It'll make it there.
I was going to get on to SME. So I want to thank them for supporting us and giving us that sort of belief, and guys like Matty, and people who we didn't really see eye to eye with years ago, giving us the opportunity to get to know them and becoming friends, and like having some good matches and becoming part of the roster. It's now the wrestling scene for us now is a breath of fresh air, and it's great. SME, I want to thank. They've always kind of had our back. They've always promoted us. They've always given us that platform. And Shady, it is not about you. It's about Smee. And there's a lot of things I want to cover. There's a lot of things I want to talk about. It's not an IWF thing. It's not to be on this platform, but I know that SME will be the platform I'll be on. Because, there's just some things that need to stay away from wrestling.
Yes.
But that will be coming shortly. is anybody I miss? I really don't like missing anyone. The Grindon Cheers Bar.
Thank you, Dagon. It's been an honor. I remember the first time the flubs were queuing.
Cheers Bar Grindon for supporting us, letting us put on the shows we have, train there, and put on future shows. Absolutely outstanding. Like, I think we've got 2 really good venues there. Is there anybody else I forgot before we sign off?
I'm going to shout out my camera people, Caitlin and Caitlin and Miles.
Yeah, the camera work has been incredible. If you watch our Patreon from the first show, you can see like the difference compared to now. Like, they're really catching specific moments. There was a moment that if Matty Bell Simpson's still watching this, so there's a moment in the triple red tag match where Fahrenheit rolls up the referee and counts to 3, and the camera just pans on you, and he's like, I mean, you can't pin the ref. Like, what's he doing? Then it pans away and it pans back on you and he's
I know
like,
He's watched that like 500 times now.
But to catch that is a touch of genius. It is, because it just shows Ewan's character. Like, it's amazing. But I think I've got everyone. Obviously, my partner Zoe, she's put with a lot of stress over the years. Quite specifically 2 years ago, like a lot of stress. But she supported us all the way through. She drives us to Scotland when we go and wrestle up there, or down to Halifax and wrestle there, or she drives us all over. I would like to see her without mourning, but she does do a lot of that. But she's in the crowd every time and on the bell and cheering us on, and her screams clearly show that she's worried when we're in there. But I think she was one of the reasons why I made this decision. If I went on too long and I got seriously hurt, we just bought a house together. Obviously got kids, got a new kitten.
Little
Enzo. I've got a good job.
Beep, beep.
I just couldn't risk that. And for the last 5 years, the support's been amazing. But yeah. So I think that's all. I think I've got everyone there.
I think you got everyone there.
I've got any messages afterwards of, oh, you missed me. Oh, actually, Brian as well. Not just for the wrestling side of things, but I want to thank him again for what he did during the time of like my mother-in-law being in St. Benedict's. There was times when she didn't want to be alone, and Brian on night shift sat outside of the door until she fell asleep, or he would go in, and even off shift, he'd go in, just sit and talk for a while. She was by herself. And when like Zoe or her sister-in-law was off to get a shower because they stayed over and grabbed something to eat. That's the kind of stuff that Imperial guys do for each other.
Zoe saying he's a top man there. Yeah, Brian is legitimately one of the nicest human beings I have ever met.
Yeah, and then like you look at Joe, and sometimes he's very straight faced. And there was a point during all the drama years ago, and we got told that our landlord was selling up and what a move, and Edie was really poorly, and the Dogos and Joe Madre's there with 4 baskets full of like Monsters and Red Bulls and little Pokemon things and like just little treats. And it's little things like that kind of light your day up. There was that time when our car got broken into and you sent us the last of your money to get the kids to school and to give them dinner money. And like, I just think people need to take the flowers when they get them, because everything that people do for each other in IWF is is second to none.
Think you got everyone?
I believe so.
I think you got everyone. I can't think of anyone else. So that is the story of Dagon. Done and dusted, boot closed, boots off, mask off, sunflower down. I did notice one thing as well, actually, after the show. You gave the armband to Leland.
Yes. I believe he is going to get a new one because it doesn't kind of match his gear. But it was I'll give him the armband and a pocket watch that said, it read, "The time is now yours, son. Dagon verse 4 on the 18th of July. And when he opened the pocket watch, it was on 6:57. But the pocket watch was like a symbol. Because my granddad used to always wear a pocket watch. And it was kind of like a symbol of like a well done.
That's nice. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been nearly 2 hours, so we won't take up more of your time. It's been a long, long journey. I'm very sad to see it over, but obviously you've had your reasons, and I completely agree with them. I know a lot of others do as well. It's sad to see you go, but you will. Obviously, you're still going to be around. You're still going to be watching over things as well. So I think the spirit of Dagon's going to be there in a way.
It's not a goodbye. It's moral. See you down the road, breath.
See you down the road. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight for this very special Behind the Curtain. We hope from wherever you are in the world that you're enjoying IWF, you've enjoyed Dagon as much as I have and everyone else has, and that you continue enjoying the Empire, because as he said, it's only going to get bigger and better from here on out. The Empire reigns. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
No retreat, no backing down. We wear the gold, we take the crown. Imperial, the Empire reigns.